The sad part about fantasy football ending is that fantasy football ends. But the nice thing about fantasy football ending is it's draft season. And yes, it's time for a way too early 2026 fantasy football mock draft. I'm going to go through the top 3 rounds of a fantasy football draft with the information we have right now. If this is the information I had and I was doing a draft right now, this is how I would do it. Now, as you can see, I already have the first round up, and that is because I already did an entire video breaking down the first round of 2026 fantasy draft. So if you want to check that out, I will link to it at the end of the video, also down in the description. But let's jump into the rest of the draft. And now I said in that video that at the 1.12, I can make a case for Drake London or Trey McBride. So I'm going to go ahead and set Trey McBride as the pick here. Now, I did also say in that video I would slightly prefer Drake London, but I think Trey McBride is fine in the second round of drafts. He's kind of proven he's like a Travis Kelce type, right? You can almost pencil him into 100 plus yards, 100 plus catches, 1,200 plus yards, 6, 7, 8 touchdowns. I know they got a whole new coaching staff coming in, but Trey McBride is still going to be the focal point. I feel totally fine about him. Now I'm going to go here with a little bit of a risky pick, and that is Rashee Rice. Of course, he does have this domestic violence thing hanging over his head. We could be looking at another year of suspension, but if he's not suspended, if he's good to go at the start of the season, Rice has proven he's like a stud wide receiver when he's healthy, and Mahomes is healthy. I know Mahomes coming off the ACL injury, but he's talking like he wants to be ready week 1. But even if it's week 2, week 3, you got to feel good about Rashee Rice. Plus, they're bringing back Eric Bieniemy as the OC. I think that's great. Get Matt Nagy out of there. So Rice, assuming he's not suspended, which as of right now he's not, I think he's got to be viewed as a stud wide receiver. And then it's very, very hard for me to decide where to put Justin Jefferson right now. And I don't think I can drop him lower than this, but I do have my concerns. Are we going to roll with another year of JJ McCarthy and, Jefferson just being mostly bad for fantasy? It's like still hard to wrap my brain around the fact that could be a thing, but it could be a thing. But as of right now, I still I don't know. Maybe it's name value. Maybe it's all the great, years he's had. I can't really drop him lower than this. And then I know I said I'm going to draft with the information we have right now. And the information we have right now is we don't know where Breece Hall is going to play, but I'm going to assume that it's not the Jets and it's somewhere really, really good. Maybe even the Chiefs. We'll see. And if that's the case, I think Breece Hall has got to fly up draft boards here. I mean, maybe even higher than this if it is the Chiefs, but I'm going to assume it's somewhere better than the Jets. So let's put Breece Hall here for now. And then right behind him, I'm going to have another running back. Last year, rookie Ashton Jeanty, I know was not a great year for Jeanty necessarily. Hopefully the Raiders bolster that offensive line. They're probably going to draft Mendoza, but again, this guy's a workhorse running back. He's still young. He's still developing. I don't think I can drop him lower than this. And then behind him, I am happy to have Chris Olave back in the second round of fantasy drafts. Proved last year that he is a stud wide receiver. Tyler Shuck looked really good in the second half. You got to love the fact that he has Kellen Moore. So I feel really good about Olave here, middle of the second round. Right behind him, I'm going to have George Pickens. And I'm going to go under the assumption that he comes back. He's with the Cowboys, whether it's franchise tag or whether they pay him. He will be a Dallas Cowboy, and he was a stud last year. I mean, he was better than CeeDee Lamb a lot of weeks. No reason to think that will change. Behind him, another wide receiver. Keep the wide receiver run going with Nico Collins. Nico's another tough one here because, man, CJ Stroud is looking worse and worse by the year, by the game, by the week. But Nico's a stud player. He got off to a slow start last year, but finished very, very strong. He's still a great player. He's pretty much the wide receiver one in this offense. I think he's still got to be a second rounder. Right behind him, right kind of where he was being drafted last year, Josh Jacobs, kind of right. Oops, kind of right in that same area. Get out of here with that. So sorry about that. Josh Jacobs right behind him. Again, a touchdown machine in this Packers offense. It sounds like Matt LaFleur is still going to be the coach there. Nothing should change here. Yeah, he's getting a little bit up there in age. I think he's going to be 28. He's got a lot of wear and tear, but as long as he's healthy, you should feel very good about him. And then I think this could be a bounce back year for Saquon. In fact, I think he might be a little undervalued here. Honestly, I might be tempted to move him up depending on what happens here. But with a healthy Eagles offensive line, He did not take nearly the beating he took 2 years ago when he had that elite season. He's probably not going to get back to the 2,000-yard season, but I think he'll be better. I think he's still got to be a second rounder. And then despite Derrick Henry entering his age 30 season, does it even matter? This guy had over 1,500 rushing yards last year. Like, was mostly great. I know we're going to have a whole new coaching staff here, and we still don't know who the coaching staff is at the time I'm recording this. They're still interviewing, but doesn't matter. He's Derrick Henry. He's the king. I can't drop him too low. And then rounding out the second round, yes, I'm going to say it's okay to Josh Allen here. This guy is like the cheat code at QB. I know he let down in championship week, but this guy is basically the cheat code at QB. Gives you rushing touchdowns, gives you throwing. Hopefully the new coaching staff that comes in, like hopefully, it's the same GM for some weird reason. I don't know, but let's hope they get this guy some talent around him, some weapons around him. But he's a cheat code at QB. I'm okay with him here at the end of the second. And then here at the start of the third, this is where I'm comfortable taking Brock Bowers. Yes, it's the Raiders offense. It's a bit of a dumpster fire, but they should be getting Mendoza. He's still like the focal point of he is the wide receiver one here, right? Like he's the wide receiver one. He's still an elite player. I think even in the Raiders offense, he's worth it here at the beginning of the third round. And then another guy that I'm really struggling with how to rank him now, Malik Neighbors. Like the plus sides here is he's a stud player. He's got Jackson Dart. They now have Jim Harbaugh. The downside here is this guy is still on a crutch, and even he's talking like doesn't know if he's going to be ready to start the season. This guy might start the season on PUP, and then we got to worry about getting reacclimated. It's always tricky coming off ACL. So I know the talent is there, and I know the situation looks pretty good, but man, I do worry about the health. Right now, I'm a little scared, so I'm going to have him early third round. Right behind him, I'm going to have Omarion Hampton, another rookie from last year that didn't live up to expectations, but now entering year two. What I love here is the Chargers just hired Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. He is a cheat code for offenses. Say whatever you want about him as a head coach. He's a cheat code for offenses. Give me the Chargers lead running back. Should be the lead running back. Remember, Najee only signed a one-year deal. Kamani Vidal did look good down the stretch, but really, I got to believe it's going to be Hampton's job next year in this Chargers offense. Honestly, if we're hearing that, yeah, he's running away with the job and there's no worry about Vidal or anything, might even have to move him up higher. And then right behind him, going to go with Bucky Irving. It was a down year. Rookie, we saw that elite efficiency. Last year, we saw terrible efficiency. But if the Bucs offensive line, remember the Bucs offensive line, they lost like 3 major starters on the O-line. They can get those guys back healthy. I think we can see somewhere in between. We don't need elite efficiency. We just need good enough efficiency. He's still the workhorse here. Rachaad White probably going to leave in free agency. So I'll take Bucky Irving. All right, let's keep the running back run going with another year 2 running back. That is Travion Henderson. Now, we did see down the stretch and in the playoffs, Ramondre kind of reasserted himself as the guy, but Henderson still has a ton of potential, ton of upside. You got to think going into year 2, have more trust. I want to take a chance on him here. And then right behind him, I'm going to have another running back. We're going to keep this running back run going with Cam Skattebo. Now, the issue with Skattebo, I know people are going to want to be like all in on Skattebo, and it's a good situation, right? Dart, Harbaugh already talked about it, but man, coming off that serious lower leg injury, we've seen players with these like big time lower leg injuries. It affects them into the next year. Think Tony Pollard a few years ago, Jonathan Taylor. So I do worry that Cam Skattebo may get off to a really, really slow start the first half of the season. So I don't want to go too crazy here. And then I'm going to have one more QB in the top 3 rounds. It's going to be Lamar Jackson. Maybe I'm a sucker here, but I do feel like whatever coaching staff they bring in, it's going to be to please Lamar, to get more out of Lamar. Remember, it sounded like him and Harbaugh were kind of having issues here. So, yeah, I know you're going to want to be tempted for Drake May, but Drake May, like, really, when you look at it for fantasy, like, Drake May was good, but not great most of the time for fantasy. And I worry that's going to be the case with that defense, with the running game. I'm going to take a chance on the upside of Lamar, though I would have Drake May as the QB3. And then right behind him, another running back with Chase Brown. This guy did get off to a slow start last year, but then smashed in the second half when Burrow came back. With a healthy Burrow in this offense, one of the best offenses here. No competition at running back. I feel really good about Chase Brown once again next year. And I also feel really good about RJ Harvey. Feel like he's being a little bit slept on here. Don't know if Dobbins will be back, but he's in this Broncos offense. He's the lead back. He's a good pass catching back. Again, going to be entering year 2, going to develop, going to have more trust. Feel really good about RJ Harvey. And then our final wide receiver in the first 3 rounds will be AJ Brown. Again, I mean, when you look at wide receiver, it just gets very flat, right? There's like a ton of wide receivers, like wide receiver 2s, wide receivers 3s that you should feel good about on a weekly basis. When you get outside those stud wide receivers, it's like, I don't feel great about any of these guys. I can't even say I feel great about AJ Brown. He might not even be an Eagle next year. This guy has felt like he's been overrated in fantasy for a couple years now, but I don't think I can drop him out of the 3rd round. And then behind him, I'm going to have Kyren Williams. Do worry that we're going to see a lot of Blake Corum, like they're going to save him, keep him fresh for the playoffs like they did in 2025. But at the same time, he catches passes. He's in the Rams offense. He's got touchdown upside. Don't think I could drop him out of the 3rd round. And then, man, very tough to figure out who to put at the end of the 3rd round. But I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. I'm going to gamble on the Jets doing something decent on offense, like maybe trading for a Kyler, trading for a Tua, maybe even a Mac Jones would be good enough for Garrett Wilson. So he's going to round out the 3rd round for me. So there you go. There is my 2026 way too early mock draft for the first 3 rounds of fantasy football. Let me know who's too high, who's too low. Who did I miss? Who would you have in? Who would you take out? Let me know down in the comments. And also, don't forget, we're dropping a video every single week of the fantasy season. So if you missed any of those videos, check them out in our playlist right here.